Ooh, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 81 of the Stand Up Guys podcast. I'm your host, incomparable Zach Jones, joined as always by the Jimmy Uso to my Jay Uso, Lester Jones.
Is that wrestling?
Yes. I may have used that a long time ago, I don't know, but I'm going with it. And, of course, it wouldn't be our show if we didn't have the Ninth Wonder, Chocolate Thunder, laying down the law and going in raw. The no condom wearing, STD daring. He'll risk a little clap so he doesn't have to fap. The phenomenal AJ Singh.
The clap or fap? That's the real question.
You know, I was thinking about going with he'll risk a little clap for a whole lot of whap. You know, wet ass pussy.
Yeah.
But everybody says wop, don't they?
Yeah, it seems like people say WAP.
Which is weird because the A stands for ass. You think they would say wap.
Plus, it sounds like that slur that people used to use against Italians.
That's true. That's true. That's going to confuse everything.
Yeah. I guess we can't do that anymore.
I was just trying to say wet ass pussy.
I thought I saw an ad the other day for like a treatment for Hep C, which I thought was like one of the...
Oh, the uncurables?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe they're making progress.
You know what? Actually, I think they've had that for a while, but I think it's supposed to be like really expensive.
Oh. Well, some of the side effects sound like liver damage, but like hepatitis can give you liver damage anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. We're getting down there. Might be free ball season pretty soon.
Didn't somebody famous have Hep C, like Pam Anderson or somebody?
Yeah, she did.
She did? She doesn't have it anymore?
Well, she probably does. I don't know.
Well, if this cure is true, she probably doesn't. She's got money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
All right, guys. What'd you do this week? What'd you watch? What'd you do? Anything?
Man, I have been watching Peacemaker. That is a fun show.
Yeah, I want to watch it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
What? Do you know what episode they're on?
Just 7 just came out today.
And how many are in total?
I think 7 might be the finale. I heard something about it being close to that many. I'm not sure if it's 7 or more.
Would you guys be interested in reviewing the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
You strike again.
Well, I mean, it would be up to us to like watch it, like almost all of it in a week. I don't know.
I had to do Hawkeye.
Hawkeye wasn't ready.
People seem to be liking this more than Hawkeye.
I don't know. I didn't like the character, really, and I didn't really like
I don't love the character, but I mean, it is written and directed by James Gunn, so it's got a better chance in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's up to you. We haven't done a review in a little while.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, maybe I'll get HBO again and dive into it.
Because I've been watching a fair amount of
You are enjoying it?
Oh, yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm looking forward to today's episode.
Okay, so you would be interested in reviewing it if we did a review?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll do that. Because it is fun to do reviews every now and again. And there hasn't been really anything made or dropped on streaming in a while that would be review-worthy. Next month, or actually less than a month, the Batman will be out and we can watch that.
Oh, okay.
The Batman.
Batman.
They're rebooting everything. So is he going to be the new Batman in the new DC verse?
From what I understand, he's supposed to be in his own contained universe, which I hope is true. But these things, you never know. If it's super successful, maybe the execs at Warner Brothers will be like, nah, it's going to be him everywhere. But I kind of hope it's just him in his own self-contained thing.
Okay.
And it seems like, I don't know, they're doing some weird shit because they're like going to have Michael Keaton as like Batman too.
Oh, that's because of the Flash.
Yeah.
Point. Yeah, I've seen the cartoon version of that, the animated version. I don't want to give away the plot points, but like there's like, I mean, yeah, I don't know, but
I'm just saying DC is.
But he's supposed to be like a more grizzled, like older, rough character, right?
Well, see, I don't know the way they're going to go with it because in the Flashpoint comics and the animated show, basically, he goes to, he basically creates a different universe and trying to bring his mom back to life. And the Batman there is actually Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, yeah.
And in that continuity, or in that universe, Bruce dies, and that sets him on his way. And he's like a much more violent Batman.
Yeah.
I kind of don't think they're going to go that route and make him. I think they'll just say like, oh, the Flash opened up a portal to all these other universes, and one of them is the Batman '89 universe, and basically we just get an older version of Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne from, that universe. That I mean, it maybe they'll throw us for a swerve and do that, make him Thomas Wayne. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what way they're going to go with it.
Are they going to bring in Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito? That's how they get my money.
Schwarzenegger.
No.
No, God, no.
There's a line.
I think Jack Nicholson is retired. I think they say like, I don't know if he has dementia or what, but like I don't think he can act anymore. Like remember his lines and things like that.
Oh yeah. Sad.
I might be wrong about that, but I think I heard something along those lines.
You just write one of those scripts where you can just freeball whatever he wants to say.
Just wing it.
He's the Joker. He says all kinds of weird shit.
Gary Busey Joker.
Oh, Gary Busey Joker would be terrifying.
They need the real cops to show up for that one.
What about you? You were watching Peacemaker or anything else?
Mostly just Peacemaker.
And what about you?
I've been watching a shitload of Trailer Park Boys.
I can attest to this.
I watched a season of what's Ricky Gervais's After Death, Afterlife, Life After Death. Fuck, I forget what it's called. It's on Netflix.
Okay. Was it any good?
It's pretty decent, but it's like there's funny stuff in there, but it's also very depressing.
That's because Netflix always does the autoplay trailers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw that one for that, and I was like, this seems like it might be, more depressing than funny, like the old dramedy thing.
Yeah, you have to mix the comedy in or it'd just be too depressing.
What else have you been watching? I saw you watching like Watchmen the other day.
I did put that in. That was one of the kind of like half in the background, half watching.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I went through Watchmen again.
Mostly Trailer Park Boys, though.
Mostly Trailer Park Boys.
How many seasons of that do they got?
It's like 13 or 14.
Jesus Christ.
Still going?
It's a shitload, yeah. Well, I don't know. I just saw that there's like an animated one now. I was like, what the fuck?
They're going to get into like NCIS territory.
Yeah. Well, they had Snoop Dogg on.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And Tom Arnold.
I didn't watch a ton this week. I watched a couple movies. So, like, there's this movie podcast I've been listening to, and they were talking about that Wes Anderson movie, The Royal Tenenbaums, and it kind of made me want to watch it. I had seen it, like, many, many years ago.
Yeah.
It seems like I saw it and just thought it was, like, boring. But
Owen Wilson's in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. He's actually in a lot of Wes Anderson movies because they're, like, friends or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I liked it okay. Like, I won't say it's a home run, but it's not bad. I kind of enjoyed seeing Gene Hackman again too, because he's like been retired for a long time.
yeah, he doesn't do a lot.
And he's like really good. And I guess like according to like this podcast, they said like apparently like him and Wes Anderson like really didn't get along on set. Like he kind of hated him, but he does a great performance. So apparently it didn't stop him from doing good work. I don't know what it is about Wes Anderson, but most of his movies just look so pretentious that I don't even engage with them.
Yeah, they're kind of weird.
I do also kind of want to see the Grand Budapest Hotel. I've never seen that one.
I've seen that one. It's not bad.
How is it?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's quirky.
Yeah, but some of his other movies, man, they just look off-putting. His style is definitely weird. And then I also watched Guillermo del Toro's latest movie, Nightmare Alley. It was on Hulu.
Huh.
I haven't heard of that one.
So basically what it's about is it's like this crime noir with Bradley Cooper. He plays this guy with like kind of a mysterious and like violent past. And anyway, in the beginning of the movie, he joins a circus and basically becomes a carny. and he's like kind of down on his luck. You know, he doesn't have much money, and he befriends this like older couple who have this like mentalist act going on, played by Toni Collette, who's like the mom from Hereditary.
Yeah.
She's in Knives Out. She's in a lot of shit, but she's really good. And then also, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, David Strathearn or something like that. He's a character actor. You definitely recognize him if you've seen him. He's in one of my favorite movies, L.A. Confidential, and he also is in a couple seasons of The Expanse, and like he's really good in The Expanse. Like his character
Was he
really
the
awesome.
cop?
In L.A. Confidential?
Yeah.
No, he's like the kind of rich playboy criminal guy that's like has the harem of ladies that he's having made up to look like Hollywood actresses.
Gosh, I don't remember. Okay.
Anyway, he's a really good actor. Bradley Cooper basically kind of learns these people's like mentalist act, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And he eventually kind of takes it on. He kind of perfects it and goes off on his own. And so like we move forward a couple years, and he's like not at the circus anymore. Like he's performing it in like legitimate venues to like rich people and stuff.
Right.
And that attracts this kind of femme fatale psychiatrist character played by Kate Blanchett. And like together they conspire to bilk this very wealthy and powerful industrialist like out of his money.
Okay.
And, like most crime noirs, things do not go well.
I might check it out. I always like Guillermo del Toro's style.
I'll say it's okay. It definitely doesn't rank up there with like my favorite of his movies like, Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy 2. But it's decent. And I think...
What's it called again?
Nightmare Alley.
Nightmare Alley.
But I think it's at least, probably worth checking out. All right. Anything else, guys, before we get into the show?
I have a work story.
Oh, go for it.
So I wasn't actually a part of this one, but it happened yesterday, and it's just like it's one of these things where like all the gears like come together in the machinery, and it's just like statistically unlikely. But so one of our buildings, we have desk personnel, so there's usually like a concierge at the desk. And then we have like an operations center in the basement, and there's like one supervisor who sits there, and they have like the rows of monitors. So they sit down there and watch the monitors. And so there's multiple buildings, and usually if something happens, there's a bike person, a patrol person, and they can go out and, deal with situations that come up. But anyway, last night there was no bike, there's no patrol, and one of the companies called in and say, hey, we have a drunk guy in here causing problems. Can you get him out? And so basically there wasn't anyone to deal with it. So the operations person called the desk person down to watch the monitors, and he went to deal with the drunk guy. So what happened? So now the main floor is empty. The elevators you can't really use without a pass key. But so he's out dealing with the drunk guy. The other guy's downstairs. Some guy comes into the building, so there's no one at the front desk. There's like this little cafe there. And usually they lock up at like 3, 4 o'clock or something. And so when they left, they didn't lock their door. Mm. And so this guy comes in, he's testing doors or whatever. It's unlocked. He goes in there. Not only... Okay, so there's no one at the desk to catch this guy. The door's unlocked. And then, like, the owner had left the cash envelope there.
Oh, my God.
The same day. And so he basically in this little time window, he walks in, he goes in here, he gets his envelope of cash and walks out. And it's like 90 seconds, and there's like all the windows aligned for this guy.
Maybe he knew the other guy who was causing a scene downstairs or whatever.
Well, the thing is, the door is almost virtually always going to be locked. The envelope's always going to be gone. I mean, you couldn't plan it because there's almost always a guy at the desk.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird, like, X, Y, Z. Like, everything had to happen.
That's wild.
Do they got this guy on tape to look out for him?
I don't know how good of a picture they got, but I mean, they have enough. They could see him come in the lobby and go in there and come back out. And then the owner would have had to told him that the envelope was missing or whatever. But yeah, just crazy.
Did he seem homeless?
He probably was, because a lot of times what happens is they'll come into these big buildings and they'll just walk around, see where they can go, and they test doors and stuff like that.
Okay.
And this guy just got lucky, man. He hit the jackpot.
I mean, hopefully it turns his life around, I guess.
I wouldn't bet on
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it either.
Man, a couple years ago when I was still preparing taxes here, like every once in a while, like they would get shorthanded in a different office that I don't usually work at, and they'd have me go like temp over there for a day.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they sent me to this one office, and it was kind of like in a shittier part of town. Yeah. And like I'm doing these people's taxes, but like I hear a guy in the lobby, like just being kind of loud, and he's like singing some weird song and shit. And I just thought, you know, maybe the poor receptionist, like maybe this was like somebody who was waiting on like someone else getting their taxes done or something, you know. But then like later on when I finally got free, I asked her about it, and she's like, oh no, he's this homeless guy. He comes in about every 2 weeks or so, drinks a cup of coffee and does what he does, and then he leaves again. I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks. Huh.
Yeah, it wasn't like an everyday thing. It was just like she's like just like periodically every couple weeks he'd come in.
Yeah, a lot of those guys, if they find a place that doesn't run them off, they start showing up every day.
Yeah,
maybe by spacing it out, they.
Yeah.
he's like, oh, yeah, I got to space it out, or they'll arrest me.
Wednesday's my day to go.
We actually had another one this week with testing doors. Like, we had a couple guys came in to the first floor in the building I usually am in, and you can go on the stairwell, but all the doors going up are locked. And so apparently they just went up the stairwell testing all the doors, and one of them wasn't latched. So they get in there and they start walking around, and some of the employees call them in, and it's like, but yeah, it's just like testing everything just to see what you can get into.
I mean, it makes sense. I guess if you had to go like 24 hours in their shoes, there's a lot of like tips and tricks they know.
Well, the two in my building, I don't think were homeless. I think because they were dressed okay, but I guess they had like Russian, Ukrainian accents.
Okay.
And I think they
never trust those people.
they were just seeing what they could steal. Yeah. But it was like an insurance company, so I don't think they got anything.
All right, are you guys ready to start this show?
Yes, dude.
All right.
Gonna be.
So anybody who hasn't watched or listened, we're just going to go around the table, bring a topic of conversation or a weird news story to the table, and we'll see if we can't make something entertaining out of it. And as tradition dictates, we usually start with AJ. So AJ, what do you got for us this week?
All right, we'll start off with a little funny one, a light one. 60,000 bees stolen from grocery company's pollinator field. Nearly 60,000 bees have been stolen from a grocery store company's field in Pennsylvania, the company said. The bees were said to have been stolen in Carlisle between January 28th and January 30th. In a statement, the giant company's community impact manager, Jessica Groves, said that the bees were an essential part of the local food chain that is suffering a declining bee population. We are extremely disappointed that this happened and are continuing to cooperate with Middlesex Township Police Department. In 2021, beekeepers in the state reported a loss of 41% of their populations, which was less than the national average loss of 45.5% of bees between April 2020 and 2021. The nationwide loss of bee populations is causing serious concerns with the agricultural industry and environmentalists because about 1/3 of the United States food supply relies on bees to pollinate plants. I thought it was going to be lighthearted, but yeah, 60,000 bees got stolen. That's wild.
Like, who would steal bees and like for what purpose?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be of some value.
I guess.
But I mean, it could also just be some loser who's like, getting me some honey, gonna have honey every day.
60,000. I mean, like, don't you just need 1,000 like for that?
Well, I don't know how many are in like one of those stacks.
Could be quite a few, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think it's quite a few. I don't know if it's 60,000. But Yeah.
I mean, that just seems like a crime that nobody would expect.
Right. It's not generally a problem, like
Yeah.
a crime wave of missing bees.
Also, I heard so much more about bees like a few years ago than now, but it sounds like it's still a problem. Like we still have really low population of bees.
Yeah, I don't know. The stories still go around, so I don't really know.
I guess maybe somebody did steal them because they're really that important.
I mean, I imagine it costs something to set up those boxes and get a queen and get a hive started. So,
Yeah.
Do you think this guy wore a beekeeper outfit, or do you think he's one of those brave sons of bitches that doesn't?
some people they don't need to, man.
I know, it's crazy. I've seen videos of some of those people that like, clean them out of attics and stuff, but keep them alive, and they'll just like gently like use their hands and brush them off. Shit, I'm like, fuck that.
Well, we live next to Granny and Lyle's, an old couple, and they had some bees. And the story was that like the woman, she'd go out there with nothing on and wouldn't get stung, and he'd go out with a bee suit and get stung 2 or 3 times.
Man.
So some people just got the touch or the knack, or
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know what the deal is.
Maybe she was a smoker because I think like smoke like nullifies.
Well, some people will use like a little smoke machine or something and smoke them, and it really calms them down.
Mm-hmm.
So
Actually, I think with those two, she didn't smoke, and he wasn't supposed to, but he would go and
Really?
cheat him like in the garage or whatever.
That's so weird. Huh. Yeah, there's no.
But yeah,
logic
they
in
always
that.
had honey on their table and honey in their tea.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Manifesto round 1.
All right. You guys are going to have to do a little prep work for the Super Bowl here. So
I don't even know who's in it, so I could be screwed.
This is a post Super Bowl party. So for the day after the Super Bowl, there's a bidet company
Ooh.
throwing a Super Bowl party.
Ooh.
So you send in a picture of your shit and what you'd eaten the day before, and so you send these pictures in, and the winner gets $10,000.
How do you win?
Yeah, who's judging this?
I don't know the criteria for the shit, but assuming size is important, volume, consistency. I don't know.
Now, how would they know that it's like one shit? What if you just keep shitting and you're like shit a whole bowl full and you're like, this was one shit?
Like you invite the entire like party back the next day.
Yeah.
Be like, hey guys,
No flushing.
fill this baby up.
Judge it.
Or be like, hey Bill, we're gonna come over to your house tomorrow.
Man, I feel sorry for whoever has to judge this. That's horrible. Just looking at pictures of poo all day.
I mean, for $10,000, maybe we should try it, though.
Well, Zach had one the other day that you had to flush like 10,000 times and it wouldn't go down.
That's true. I flushed it probably 4 or 5 times.
Like I probably pissed like 4 or 5 times and flushed it and it didn't go down. I took a shit on top of it and wiped. My shit went down and your shit stayed there.
Oh my god.
It was what we call in the business an unsinkable Molly Brown.
Like it doesn't even make sense.
I heard about this family. This guy on TikTok talked about it. He was like, my family, we just have like weird bowels. Like we take huge shits. We always have no toilet can handle us. So he said that they had a shit knife in their house and they would use it to cut shits open like in half and stuff to get them down the toilet. And he one time went to his friend's house and blocked the toilet with a massive turd. And he was like, hey, can you give me a shit knife? And his friend was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, a shit knife to cut the turd in half. And everybody at his friend's house, because there was a party at the time, the music had shut off right when he asked for that. And everybody heard it and they were all just rolling. Then he told his wife about it years later, like now in present day. And she was like, wait, is that the knife that's hanging in our bathroom? Like, and she was like, I use that to
shit on it.
Yeah, she was like, I use that to open up Amazon packages. He was like, oh no, that's a shit knife. Like,
like you should have known that this was.
That's something you should disclose before you get married. Our kids are gonna have massive shits.
It's like I was wondering why the knife was like hanging on a nail by the toilet. I've never heard of that. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I just picture a big, like, Nordic, like, I don't know.
You know this Chekhov quote about writing where he's like, you don't hang a gun on the wall unless you're going to use it later.
I've never heard of a shit knife. That is crazy.
I read this shit story the other day. It was like one of those personal confession ones. This chick was on a date. She says she took a shit and it wouldn't like flush or whatever. And so she threw it in the cat box. And then like the boyfriend was like, did you take a shit in the cat box? She's like, no. She's like, well, my cat's been dead for like a week.
Oh my god. Oh.
But yeah, if you can save up a good one before Monday, $10K could be yours.
What if you take like a really good shit on Thursday?
Hey, they're not gonna. Well, you got to make sure to scrub the dates from your photo reference.
That's true.
And scrub your butt too on the way out.
I guess you could just like on the Monday take a screenshot of the original photo. There's a way.
There's a will. There's a way. I took this great one back in 1984.
All right. Well, I got a classier story here. A couple disgusted after finding thousands of nail clippings in a secondhand sofa. If you're squeamish, you might want to skip this one. A couple were recently left horrified after they discovered thousands of chewed fingernails and toenails lurking down the side of their secondhand sofa when they went fishing for the TV remote. Jess Taylor likened the scene to something out of a horror film, which included other gross items such as sweet wrappers, elastic bands, clumps of hair, and feathers. Jess from Larne, Northern Ireland said. Seeing all that was like something out of a horror film. It was gross. It just sounded like hoovering up rice. It was horrific. We'd been sat on it for a week, blissfully unaware. Recalling the incident, she said her boyfriend stuck his hand down the side of the sofa to find the TV remote before being confronted with chunks of stuff. Kennedy News and Media. Oh, that's who did this. It just continued. Then I put my hands down the side of the sofa and was pulling out chunks of stuff. We both gasped in horror. There were thousands of fingernails. They were ripped or chewed off. They were probably toenails in there too. Sharing her traumatizing story on Facebook, just wrote, I found a decent-looking secondhand sofa, smoke and pet-free home. Once they arrived, they did not smell or give me any reason to turn my nose up. Phew, that worked out. Until tonight, my partner was doing the daily, where's the remote? You have it routine? The remote was down the side of the sofa. When sticking his hand down to grab it, take a breath and sit down if you have got this far. He felt a load of yuck. He pulled out said yuck, and it was a handful of sweetie wrappers and fingernails. Upon inspection and multiple gags later, he retrieved not hundreds, but thousands of fingernails of varying sizes. I don't know the rate of nail growth this person has, but they must have been on some kind of growth supplements or had about 10 extra hands or feet. We've been hoovered out the remaining nails. It sounded like uncooked rice being hoovered up. My goodness, I have never been so disgusted in my entire life. I would have uploaded a picture, but it would be in violation of almost every law on this planet. Tip, check your secondhand stuff thoroughly. I learned the hard way. Horrified social media users flooded the comment page saying how revolting the fingernail haul was. One person wrote, "Oh my God, how was that couch? How old was that couch? Because that's years of buildup of clip nails. It takes a lot to gross me out, and this sure did. How incredibly disgusting, LOL." Another commented, "I'm actually gagging. Could only read halfway." And one person wrote, "That's not normal. Are you sure these people weren't serial killers?" I mean, I don't know. If it might have just been one person that was just like always clipping their nails, but they had to be like a lazy some bitch to always just like, just throw them down.
Yeah, it's obviously a habit. Just like, never gonna see you again. I bet people have bought like secondhand sofa that have like so many boogers wiped on them.
Yeah, I would never buy a secondhand mattress or sofa.
Yeah, a mattress would be rough.
Even a car is like, you need to get somewhere, and it's a good deal to get a secondhand car. But man,
it's so hard to open these sweeties without my fingers.
Man, that's nasty, though. Yeah, I wouldn't want to
that's
open
just
that
gross.
up.
Can you just imagine like putting your hand down there to get the remote and you're like, what is this? You got like hair, feathers, and nails. And a shit knife. All right, I guess we're already back to AJ for round 2.
All right, I just thought this was kind of funny how this guy's mind works. Ohio mayor concerned ice shanties could lead to prostitution. The mayor of an upscale city outside Cleveland is making headlines again for a remark at a recent city council meeting that allowed ice fishing shanties on a city lake. That allowing ice fishing shanties on a city lake could lead to prostitution. Hudson Mayor Craig Schubert, during the meeting on Tuesday, and
Lonely in there?
said he wanted to raise some data points during the discussion about whether to permit people to fish on the frozen lake. Does someone come back next year and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time, Schubert said. And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem, prostitution. Now you've got the police chief and the police department involved.
It's a clear A to B situation.
Messages seeking comment were left with Schubert on Thursday. Schubert issued a statement to WJW-TV in Cleveland saying his comment about ice shanties and prostitution stemmed from his experience as a television news reporter covering law enforcement agencies that have arrested people for prostitution in shanties. When discussing proposed legislation, it is wise to discuss the potential for unintended consequences, Schubert said. Schubert drew national attention last year when he called for Hudson school board members to resign over the use of a book of writing prompts for a college-level class at the high school.
It was going to lead to witchcraft?
That he called child pornography.
Oh, okay.
Hudson is roughly 30 miles southeast of downtown Cleveland. I mean, that's what he called it, though. You know? It was just a book of writing prompts at college-level classes, so who knows what it really was. This guy's mind goes...
yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? Like, I remember back in high school, I don't know what class it was, but like we were looking through an encyclopedia. It was like a medical one, you know, and it had this old school picture of like an old school proctologist with like a telescope in this guy's head. We all thought it was like the funniest.
You don't know what that leads to. Just imagine this ice queen running out to these shanties.
Yeah, who are these girls who are going to be wearing nothing at these ice shanties?
It does some guy in there with like a 6-pack. Like the only thing he has is like a beer.
It does seem like an uncomfortable place to fuck.
Yeah.
Getting any bites in there?
We're going to build a children's skate park. What about the prostitutes, huh?
One hole's dried up, but the other's
I got some short topics too, so you guys want to get into one of those too? Man upset over Canada's mask mandates threatens wrong Ottawa. A man who wanted to join the protests in Canada's capital over mask mandates called in a bomb threat so police would waste their time chasing it. But he called the wrong Ottawa, a village in Ohio. The man, a 20-year-old from Akron, Ohio, called the Putnam County Sheriff's Office twice Monday, said Sheriff's Captain Brad Brubaker. The first time he made a bomb threat, and then in a second call he said that he had been shot. That's when the man found out he was talking with someone in Ohio. He wasn't paying attention and just called the first number he found, Brubaker told the Lima News. He said that he was mad about mask mandates. The sheriff's office said it would ask the county prosecutor to consider charges against the man. I mean, it's always like the least intelligent people who are the most active when it comes to this sort of thing.
yeah.
Like this is just like that FedEx shooting that happened a few years ago, like where that guy went into a FedEx thinking it was a federal building and shot some employees. It's just never the smartest people. But yeah, this guy called a bomb threat into Ottawa, Ohio to disrupt the police in Canada. Yeah.
Actually, that whole trucker protest in Canada, I was telling him it made me think of like I don't know, like a week or two ago. I think it was on Twitter or something. Do you know that Canadian cartoon character Kai Lu?
Yeah.
He's like this. I've never actually saw it, but he's like this like white Canadian kid that's kind of like a Charlie Brown type. That's always like bald and always depressed or something. And apparently there's a white supremacist group that have adopted Crying Kailu as like their mascot because it like shows like poor white guy essentially. And it even showed like people like a trucker like decked out with like Crying Kailu and like whatever like group this is.
That is a weird thing to make your mascot.
I'm like, that is the word. Like people don't hate these guys enough now that they adopted Kailu as their mascot. It was like, oh, just when we thought we couldn't hate you guys more. What a shitty mascot.
Yeah. It's confusing, that's for sure. Like if you were looking at it from a place of like, you're being threatened by these people and you see like Kailu on all their stuff, you'd be like, why are they wearing this? Why are they so aggressive?
Oh, man. All right, Manifesto round 2.
Okay, so I think last week we briefly mentioned that we're sending like a few thousand troops to the border of Ukraine over there. So here's the thing. We've pretty much announced that if Russia attacks them, we're not going to do anything. So we're sending them over there for no reason. But in the meantime, while nothing's going on, they're putting plans in place. In case Russia attacks Ukraine, we want to make sure we have a clear exit plan to evacuate those troops that aren't going to do anything because they don't want another Afghanistan.
What is going on?
It's so indecisive and stupid.
Like, are they trying to like start a war like by putting them in there in the first place?
Well, it made it sound like we were just going to put a presence there as like a deterrent or something.
It's not going to deter anything.
But then they turn around like, if they attack, we're not going to get in there. And then they're like, we need an evacuation plan in case this goes south.
I mean, do we have a plan to like, if they attack, maybe get civilians out that don't want it? Is that part of it?
It doesn't sound like it because they were talking about that too. But there's apparently a fair number of Americans that are actually in Ukraine. And basically, they're like, you guys should probably get out. It might go south.
America's like more excited about this Ukraine-Russia war than anybody else is. Like, we like hype it up. Even Ukraine's like, shut up. They're like, dude, you're scaring our own citizens with all this hype about this war. Like, just
like I wouldn't want to see like Russia on one side and America on the other side.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
true.
No, let's not do this, guys.
Yeah, I mean, even if Russia invaded Ukraine, it'd be like a quick thing, like you wouldn't expect it to be like.
I wouldn't think it'd be drawn out.
Yeah, but like America is making it sound like it's gonna be like this big World War III. Everybody's gonna be involved.
Well, all the military contractors. Anytime there's a dispute like this, they want to make it, as scary as possible, so that it just keeps feeding them, and getting them business.
Yeah.
It's just all one big, machine that keeps feeding itself. But yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. like, are we just gonna keep letting Russia like take back these countries, little countries at once?
I mean, I sincerely don't think we'd do anything.
I doubt it.
There's nothing we can do because they're like right next to Russia. They have the ease of like just walking right in, taking over.
Weren't you telling me though that like there's a lot of Ukrainians that like are in favor of like under Russia?
Like about half of Ukraine, like, or at least it was in Crimea. I don't know about the rest of Ukraine, but a lot of Ukrainians do consider themselves Russian. So
I mean, if that's the case, like if there's a large percentage that like don't even care, like I can't see this.
Well, there's also people who would fight with them. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I would think Russia would have way outnumber them.
Yeah.
All right. Are you guys all excited about the Winter Olympics? Have you been watching?
It's been happening. I didn't know it.
Yeah, I barely knew it. See, I heard something.
Well, I think a lot of people are disinterested, and then like a lot more people are just like they don't like China, and they're just like, fuck it.
Well, there's a story I just found today, and I didn't read it in detail, but just from what it says, like I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I'll go through and see what you guys think. So it says 5 ski jumpers were disqualified at the Winter Olympics because of, quote, baggy suits. The International Ski Federation, FIS, disqualified 5 women ski jumpers because their suits were too baggy, leaving the sport mired in controversy on the biggest stage at the Beijing Winter Olympics. The competition had been heralded as a step forward for women in ski jumping as it offered them a second chance to compete on the biggest stage in the sport.
I mean, if you're not going to strap yourself into a bikini and fucking go no, slamming down those slopes, like
They lost me at women. Like, come on.
It's not real.
You should be wearing a thong.
unless it says trans, that's transphobic.
But there were tears before the end of the competition after the disqualifications. The final of the inaugural mixed team event in China descended into chaos when several athletes, some with serious medal hopes, had jumps chalked off because their suits were deemed to have given them an aerodynamic advantage because they were too big. Now, see, that's what gets me hung up. I would think baggy suits would get more air resistance.
That'd be my first thought.
I would think
And it's not like, the other contestants couldn't have worn baggy suits.
Let's keep going. Let's see. Sarah Takanashi.
Unless maybe it was like a squirrel suit. You just come off the high jump.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
Sugar glide to the bottom.
That'd be. I'd actually like to see someone do that. See how far they could go. Sarah Takanashi was one of the disqualified athletes. The move came after the suits were inspected mid-competition and led to German Katarina. I think it's like Althos, but I'm going to say outhouse. And Japanese hopeful Sarah Takanashi being disqualified, as well as jumpers from Norway and Austria. Althaus told reporters, "We were looking forward to the second competition at the Olympics. FIS destroyed that with this action. They destroyed women's ski jumping. Our names are now out there, and we just pulled the." This is weird because it's like censoring. It says C ** P, which I would think crap. It says they pulled the crap card, but is that a saying?
I don't know.
That is how you destroy nations, development, and the entire sport. Germany's head of Nordic events at the Olympic Winter Games, Horst Hudel, added, "This is a parody, but I am not laughing. It is outrageous that this happens with the 4 biggest ski jump nations." 5 athletes were DQ'd in total. Norway's head of ski jumping, Claes Brede Brathen, added that the whole affair was very painful for the disqualified athletes and their teammates, stating that the issue could and should have been sorted out before the competition even started. That would make the most sense.
Yeah.
He said the sport of ski jumping has experienced one of its darker days. I'm lost for words, really. I'm in pain on behalf of our sport. Because of the nature of ski jumping, wind resistance is key in the sport, meaning that equipment, including suits, is regularly checked to ensure that there is no foul play. The FIS said that the opportunity was there before the games to test the new suits, which had been designed for the games, but few nations took it. In the end, the competition was won by Slovenia, with the Russian Olympic Committee taking silver, leaving Canada with an unlikely bronze. Slovenia took the gold in the end. In total, 2 Norwegians, 1 German, an Austrian, and a Japanese athlete were penalized. One of the disqualified Norwegians, Silje Osbeth, said, "I think they checked it in a new way today compared to what they have done previously. I think it's very strange that they would suddenly change how they do it in the middle of a tournament. I don't know what to say. I'm really just shaken. I'm sorry that I was disqualified today." The tournament judges declined to comment when asked by Norwegian journalists. So, yeah, this kind of seems like it's on that committee that inspects the suits. Like, why would they even have made it like an optional thing that these nations didn't like take advantage of? Like, they should have it should be mandatory, and then this wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah. That's just poor planning.
Yeah. But also, I want to see these suits because, I would think, the more skin tight, the more aerodynamic. I wouldn't think, a baggy suit would be helpful in this situation. I don't...
Maybe the wind was behind them.
Oh, so it's like a sailboat? Which way is the wind blowing? I'm wearing my baggy suit today.
Getting a little extra 5 miles an hour.
That's the other thing, what kind of difference do you think these suits can make? Millimeters? It just seems so stupid.
I wouldn't even thought that would make a difference. Like, I don't know who comes up with these ideas. Like, oh yeah, baggy suits, that's the way to go.
Like, the only thing I've been able to think of is stupid, sexy Flanders.
It's like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. You know, I also wonder, like, does Canada ever lose curling? Because if they do, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen curling.
It's funny because, like, back home we were so close to the Canadian border that when we had cable, like, we got like CBC, which like the Canadian Broadcasting Company or whatever. So like they had it on there frequently, and like every once in a while I would watch it just because it's such a weird sport. Like, and I still don't really understand how the sweeping and stuff works.
How is that guy who's sweeping going to make that big of a difference?
I don't know. But the other thing is, like, they'll sweep really fast and then they'll let off, and then they'll sweep really fast and let off, and it's just like, wow, I don't really get it. I wish I knew what was going on, but
I'm surprised that, like, living where we grew up, like, no one ever, just went and painted some freaking lines out on the lake or something
and tried it. I don't know if there would have been a really good place to try it. Well, I mean,
those lakes freeze over in the winter.
yeah, but they're all full of prostitutes and
Yeah. All the shanties out there. But I mean, if you need to send your son off for a little while, it'd be like, go do some curling with your friends. Dad is busy.
At the shanty.
These ice queens running around.
Let's see whose turn is AJ. I think it's your turn again.
All right.
Back around already.
Let's see. Do I want to go with this? I thought this was kind of funny. Massachusetts game show winner gets trip to New Hampshire. A Massachusetts contestant on The Price is Right was hoping to win a getaway to some tropical locale during a recent appearance on the game show. Instead, she won a trip to neighboring New Hampshire. Catherine Graham had already won a fire pit and a love seat when she was picked to go on stage and play side by side with host Drew Carey. She found out that she'd be playing for a trip to New Hampshire just across the border from Massachusetts. She won by correctly guessing the value of the prize.
$1.
$7,696 instead of $9,000. I mean, pretty much, right? It's a trip next door. Graham confessed she was hoping for somewhere a little bit more exotic than the live free or die state, which she said she's already visited a million times. I wish it was Tahiti or someplace, or Bora Bora. A cruise around the world, maybe. And that's it. She won a trip to New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's a pretty piss poor prize.
Let me see. That was a short one, so let me go with... Okay. Oh, I already did this one. Oh, the rest of my stories are kind of long, so we'll stop with that one, I guess.
Okay, manifesto.
Well, back to the old the Canadian truckers. So, I mean, they tied up the Capitol, but then apparently, like, it spread to, like, they're closing off a lot of the like passageways between America and Canada. So a few big ones. It's like Montana, North Dakota, Michigan. And I don't know. I'm kind of wondering how you guys think it's going to go. I think they're going to win. I think they almost have to win.
Well, tell me. I'll be honest. I've only vaguely heard about this story. So give me a breakdown of what are the truckers actually doing?
So basically, it just started in Ottawa, and they basically they parked and blocked the streets, and they've been blowing their horns and stuff. But otherwise, peaceful protest, basically. And so
this is protesting the mask mandate to cross the border.
Well, it's
Just
mandatory vaccinations to cross the border.
Okay.
Oh.
And so they say something like 80% of the people are vaccinated, but the truckers are, getting backed up on this. And what's strange to me is that, like, the Prime Minister Trudeau he's kind of like, kind of buckled up when I think he would have been smarter to just give in right away, because he's put himself in a corner now where, like, he can't back down, and it doesn't seem like they're backing down. And I don't know, but like in America, I feel like Democrats are going to have to start backing down because midterms are coming, and some of them are going to need some distance from this. So I'm kind of anticipating them falling apart a little bit. But yeah, I mean, just strategically, it seems like it was a bad move.
Is it happening on both sides of the border, like over here too?
Not yet, but there are thoughts that it was going to spread, and I like they're blocking a bridge. I think this is the Michigan one. They're parked on a bridge in between. But it's like I think it's like the major gateway between,
like Windsor, I think.
Between and but apparently it's a privately owned bridge, so I don't know if it's owned by Americans or Canadians or what the deal is. But it's maybe something like the government over there might not be able to deal with legally. I don't know. It's strange, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just they're so important and they don't seem like they're stopping. And also just that it's been like very peaceful. And they say like in Ottawa, there's like, there are bouncy castles and fucking people in saunas and just random shit. So, I mean, it's been a peaceful thing, but they started sending in cops now and they made a few arrests. I don't think anything too crazy. They've been giving out tickets, but.
Well, and I just don't know, like closing or having this vaccine mandate across the border, would that help like slow the spread of the virus that much? Because my thought is, even if these guys like cross the border and they go to a place that's interacting with people, I mean, that place is going to have whatever mandates they have, whether it's masks in indoor places or what it is. So I just don't know if it's worth like.
Well, I mean, another question, just logistically, how long do they have to do this before your entire economy?
Well, and that's the thing. We're already having supply chain issues.
Yeah. Well, that's what, like we talked about it a little bit, like when they first started that, and America has these, fired up too, where people crossing the border are supposed to be vaccinated, and that's Mexico and Canada. But, yeah, we're already having supply chain issues. Why are you going to do anything that's going to like make it worse? And then like apparently you've pissed off a subgroup of this that can physically shut down your entire country, and then you're gonna like double down. It just seems stupid.
I'm surprised like they don't come down on them really hard, like because they're blocking roads, right? Like people can't get across the border because of them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not easy.
But I mean, like, don't you start giving out tickets and like arresting people who are parked in the?
Well, they're giving out tickets at least in the city. I don't know about like the other three ways they're blocking, but it doesn't. They don't seem to be moving.
I think in the U.S. we would come down harder on it. Like over here, if somebody tried to block the street or block something like that, they would get arrested.
But I mean, it's thousands of trucks. I mean, if you start arresting people, like you still have to move all these vehicles.
Yeah, but just impound them, right? Like,
no. If you look at the pictures of the city, it would take. I mean, if they were united, like it'd be ages.
in America, we would just create a little area for all the trucks and then just make them pay for parking.
I don't know. It sounded like some of the police and stuff. It's not like everybody's against them. There's like other people on their side.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, if these are like 18-wheelers, like you would need a large place to impound all of them, probably.
Yeah, where are you even going to put them? Yeah, if you started to tackle that idea.
Oh, you have to move them pretty far.
And how many vehicles do you have to move them? And
at the end of the day,
it'd be a giant mess. And there's more of them than probably cops. So I mean, if they start going south, and you don't want to turn something violent that's essentially peaceful. I mean, in my thoughts. I
mean, it's the same thing that happened with Black Lives Matter protests.
But it'd be so much smarter to just back down.
At the same time, though, I do feel sorry for like the truckers who are vaccinated but now can't do their job because these other assholes are in the way.
Well, that's
if 80%.
That's the thing, because like you've just got like the two guys at the end. If they're not moving, nobody else is moving.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is going to be gridlocked. Like even if they decided to.
I wonder what percentage of truckers are vaccinated over there.
Well, they said the general population I think was like at 80%. So presumably probably quite a few, but. I don't know. They're just, I mean, people are just tired of the mandates and bullshit.
Yeah, but if it's only like so few people, I'm surprised they can make that big of a wave.
But I mean, if you've got 80% vaccinated and you look like you're going to destroy your entire economy, well, like, what's your thought process? How can you be this hung up on it?
I don't know. I mean, like, all these countries have like their own rules against like COVID, and I guess it has to be respected, right? Because like if the U.S. doesn't want people to come in here who don't have vaccinations, then that hurts Canada, right?
It would be kind of messy, like if you could only go one way, you know, it's like, oh, you can leave, but you can't come back, or something like that. But
Actually, that would maybe have been the smarter thing for the Canadian government to do.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But then I don't know what the U.S. policy is.
Yeah, I don't know. There are talks that American, like some Americans are talking about creating a similar movement. So we might see it.
But I heard like U.S. security is all over it. Like they're breaking any chance of that happening in the U.S. Like the Super Bowl apparently was like under threat because of this for some reason, and they called in like so many different teams and stuff to like make sure that there's no issues from.
Oh, they're just talking about blocking entrance to whatever city it's in. Yeah. I don't know anything about Super Bowl, but
I want to say it's in L.A. or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is in LA. That's right.
Well, they have enough traffic problems without truckers.
Yeah,
but I think like that's like the biggest port in America, right? LA, or it's up there.
Well, I don't know, but we did talk about like the California ports having a lot of backlog and issues already. So, yeah, I could see you not wanting to make that any worse.
Yeah, I think just Canada's, you know, they're a little bit. They don't have the resources that the U.S. has.
I don't know. If you had 1,000 truckers, it'd be hard to deal with. Like if you seriously want to deal with it, it'd almost have to be troop involvement, and that is a political nightmare.
All right. Anything more on this one?
Good enough.
Well, I got a little PSA for you guys here. This might actually save your guys' life. Man dies in total agony 10 days after eating a gecko. So no eating geckos.
Dang.
David Dow never backed down from a dare. Though eating a gecko at a Christmas party after being dared could be the event that claimed his life. Dow was rushed to Brisbane's Mater Hospital in total agony 2 days after associates reportedly witnessed him consume the gecko at a Saturday night party. Alira, Dow's partner of 15 years, begged the paramedics to transport him to the ER after they presumed he had just had a severe hangover or a badly upset stomach. We never thought this would happen. It was just a big shock, and it still is a big shock, Alira said in an interview. He was a great person. He was the best person I've ever met. He was the best dad to our children. A day into the hospital visit, they diagnosed Dow with salmonella. He started puking green bile, his pee was black, and his stomach was so terribly bloated that he appeared 6 months pregnant. His lungs, too, began to occupy with fluid, and fluid spilled from his stomach. The day after Dow entered the hospital, Alira was informed by a pal they were pretty sure they had observed him eat a gecko at the shindig. Alira told the doctor, and the doctor said that could have been it, stated Hannah, Dow's sister. But there has been no evidence that he actually ate it because there was, oh yeah, I saw him eat it, and then no, I didn't see him eat it. It was a dare, so he might have intended to eat it and then thrown it away. At the end of the day, we don't know whether he actually ate the gecko. David never mentioned it. Less than 14 days after he supposedly ate the gecko, Dow passed away in surgery. His loved ones claimed he basically rotted from the inside out. A vast number of animals contain salmonella in their gut, including frogs, snakes, and geckos.
I think he ate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm thinking he ate it.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, what kind of psychopath do you have to be to dare a person to eat a gecko or anything like that that might be dangerous?
I mean, I could see like the jackass guys doing it. I could actually see a bunch of redneck guys doing it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not going to take the blame off the victim, too. He should definitely know better to actually put that gecko in his body. But, God. That sucks. That's a terrible way to go, man. Rotting from the inside out.
Yeah. Apparently salmonella, not something you want to get.
Yeah, I agree.
We're almost at time. Do either of you guys get like maybe a short story or
Mine's garbage.
one more that you'd like to go out on?
I have a couple of stories here. Oh, yeah, I'll just touch on this first one. The first one is about these crazy fights that are happening in Russia. I couldn't show you the picture here, but there was this. There's this huge like Russian guy. He's massive, like almost 300 pounds or something, and he's fighting this like little, less than featherweight woman. And it's like
I think I saw the picture of this like headline, but I didn't read it, so I didn't know what it was about exactly.
Yeah, so let me talk about it. Alexandra Stepakova and Gregory Chistayokov stunned the crowd when they stepped inside the cage to face one another during yet another epic fighting championship event in Russia. Not only was there an obvious issue of gender, there was also a sizable weight difference between the two fighters. Chistayokov, a heavyweight with little professional experience in the sport, cast a huge shadow over his strawweight opponent. In footage shared on social media, the pair can be seen going at it with neither fighter holding back. Both, despite being much smaller of a fighter, Stepakova was able to use her agility and speed to her advantage. But not only did she last the course, she was able to land a number of heavy blows on the legs and head of Kistyakov. Stepakova has fought in one professional bout before this, losing a third-round TKO against Daria Bunkina in Moscow. The intergender fight took place in Russia. For his part, Kistyakov has previously faced flyweight Darina Mazdyuk in another intergender weight mismatch. She dropped him within 90 seconds. Wow, okay. If you think the above is weird, just wait. Last year, an intergender MMA fight was heavily criticized after a woman was badly beaten by her male opponent. The fight, which took place at a hotel in the Polish city of, I'm not going to try this, ended in the woman receiving punches to the face, with one viewer describing it as horrific. The female competitor, not going to try that, is an arm wrestler and fitness instructor. Despite showing off her bulging muscles online, she was no match for Piotr Muaboy Lisowski, a beauty brand ambassador who describes himself as 185 centimeters of pure sex. The video of the match ended up doing the rounds on social media, in which the pair can be seen siding each other up and staring as a fairly tame opening round. An intergender MMA fight received criticism online after a woman was badly beaten by her male opponent. Oh, let's just repeat. However, Mua Boy lands a couple of blows on... Oh, it's just kind of talking about the fight. Mua Boy manages to slip Saikas onto her back and pin her down. Although she attempts to retaliate with several punches to the male fighter's head, he responds by putting a knee to her torso. It's not pretty to watch at all. The beating was so bad that the ref was forced to intervene and award the win to Mua Boy. Just this past week, we saw a 75-year-old pensioner and his 18-year-old grandson jump into the cage with a 28-year-old woman. Russia's having these weird mismatch fights, man.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if they had like intergender like matches like that over here,
where they go all out on each other?
Yeah, it'd be like very controversial, I would think.
Extremely, yeah. It'd be like backyard fighting for sure.
I mean,
no legit, company would sponsor that.
No, it seems crazy, and like most guys, at least in our culture, like would feel uneasy about fighting a woman, especially just going like all out after her. And like, although this guy is taking a risk, because like if the woman like beats the shit out of him, then he looks like bad, But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, I don't get it. Like, I saw one where like Batman and Robin fought Spider-Man. And
that's fun.
I felt bad for Batman and Robin because they were so unathletic, and Spider-Man was just so much like better. He was kicking both of their asses badly.
I'll say that sounds much more interesting than the fights they have over here.
Where Jake Paul fights some small guy.
I would be much more interested just in like regular MMA matches if they did dress as like superheroes and supervillains.
That's true, yeah. And the guy who is the Hulk has to be like really big. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Hulk versus Flash. We gotta see that. Skinny guy versus a giant building.
Oh yeah, that would be an interesting fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would one ever beat the other though? Because it seems like, I mean, the Flash could
Heal pretty quickly, right?
and probably always keep out of his reach.
Yeah.
I mean, he could make the Hulk tired probably, but I don't like he couldn't land the killing blow, could he?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I guess he can do that thing where he like vibrates his hand
phases
into his
through.
heart. So if he does that, maybe.
Maybe he just punches him in the scrot.
Or he vibrates through his throat and like blows his balls.
I don't know how fast Hulk's healing factor is. Like if you're actually like physically going through him, and is he like healing at the same time? Or?
That's true because like in the first Avengers movie, he's like says that he was Banner and like he tried to blow his brains out or something, but he pulled the trigger and was like instantly Hulk.
Yeah, the other guy spit it out.
Yeah.
These are the questions.
I still don't know. Even if you're the Hulk, if someone like speed bags your nuts, that's a bad day.
I mean, you're gonna feel it. That's for sure.
He's not going to get less angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it's not a fight to the death, like maybe Flash wins just because he's like puts the Hulk down, like grabbing his balls. But if it's a fight to the death, like I don't know who wins.
Yeah, I don't think you can kill the Hulk.
Yeah, I think Hulk could destroy the Earth before you destroy him.
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Flash is killable, but the Hulk would actually have to be able to get his hands on him.
Yeah.
It is a conundrum. But Batman would win. That's the answer. All right. We made it past an hour. Should we wrap this bad boy up?
Sure.
Wrap it
I
up.
think we had a good one today. All right. Well, anybody who's watching or listening, please either go ahead and subscribe both on YouTube and your podcast feed of choice. Leave us comments. If you're really feeling generous, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. Tell all your friends and family about us. And go ahead and interact with us on Twitter. Guys, where can people find you on Twitter?
I am at a name for this too, and that's the number 2.
At unsolicited SUG.
And you can, of course, find me at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. And that is going to do it for all of our shenanigans and poppycock this week. Please, please, please tune in again next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Have a good one.